Hey everyone, Ryan Young, Kama Jiu-Jitsu. And I thought I'd kind of shift gears a little bit. We did a very popular video a while ago. In fact, it was the video that kind of started to get our channel on the move, and it was a video I did on the belt system of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And that was just the original belt system that was done, 1967 or 1963. I can't remember exactly which year it was. That was the year they transitioned from going with just 3 belt colors: white, light blue, navy blue, where white was the beginner, light blue was an assistant professor, navy blue was the professor. You know, every school's got their own systems for how they want to do belts, and Kama Jiu-Jitsu is no different. We follow pretty much the 1967 on system, where we just go white, blue, purple, brown, black. However, we do have a little bit of changes here and there, and the reason is because now there's no such thing as a standard blue belt. You don't have a blue belt is a blue belt is a blue belt, which is what it used to be like before, when only a small group of people were teaching. Now you've got everybody teaching, and you've got purple belts giving out blue belts now, you know, because a lot of schools are run by blue belts or purple belts, whatever, and they're wanting to give out belts too, because it kind of keeps their students around if they do have some sort of belt advancement system. Because let's say you're a purple belt and you don't feel you're qualified to give belts, which you're really not, but let's say you acknowledge that and you just tell your students, you know what, you're just gonna have to stay white belts until I become a black belt, if that ever happens, and when it does, then I'll give you guys your belt accordingly. Nobody's gonna stick around for that. They're gonna go, F this, my instructor can't even give a belt and he's only a purple belt. And you know, when you're only a purple belt, they'll come around when you're a raw beginner and you've got nothing going on. Then to them, oh yeah, you know, you're a purple belt, it doesn't make a difference because I'm far from that. But once they start getting some kind of level going, then they're gonna want to find a qualified black belt professor. I digress. And I have a few belts here. So this is your standard blue belt. You see the black bar here. It goes from blue to black and to blue again. This is what we call your ranking bar, and your blue belt would be your rank, and then you have your individual rank. So you can have your up to 4 white stripes on your belt. You can call them degrees, you call them stripes, it really doesn't matter. It's all the same. But you know, this is your standard blue belt, and everybody who goes through the curriculum here at Kama Jiu-Jitsu will earn this particular blue belt. What if you're a blue belt from another school and you come and join Kama Jiu-Jitsu, and you know, we do have a set curriculum on what you need to accomplish before you can earn a blue belt here, and you've earned a blue belt elsewhere, but you don't quite meet all the curriculum requirements we have here at Kama Jiu-Jitsu. You undoubtedly met them at your last academy, but you know, there is some overlap between what they would require and what we would require. You know, for instance, there'd be some stuff that we would require that they don't require. At the same time, there might be some stuff they require that we don't. But at any rate, it's different. Just because you're a blue belt somewhere else, given that there's so many different teachers teaching now, doesn't mean you're a blue belt here, and vice versa. Back maybe 4 years ago, Professor Dave's thinking was, if they don't know what they need to know to be a blue belt, then they're a white belt, which makes sense. But at the same time, what if you've been training 5, 6, 7 years and you earned your blue belt a while ago? There aren't that many people that would, I don't know, for lack of a better term, suck it up and just say, you know what, I'm training in a different martial art, different system altogether, I'll just wear a white belt. A lot of people think, no, you know, I've been doing jiu-jitsu and jiu-jitsu is jiu-jitsu, and I'm just training with you because it's more convenient location-wise than the school that I was at, because I've moved, right? So I want to train in a school near you, and because of that, they don't want to give up their rank. And because they don't want to give up their rank, they're going to go somewhere else. You know, we've had people that would, you know, especially in our California campus where Dave is, you know, they come in as brown belts through other systems, and they come in and they don't even know half of what our purple belts know. A lot of times our blue belts know things that they don't, and these are important concepts. So they're thinking is, oh man, you know, I've been training 10 years, I earned my brown belt, and if I come on board with Kama Jiu-Jitsu, it's going to be another 10 years before I get to brown belt here, or I may just have to wear a blue belt or whatever Dave Kama wants me to wear. So a lot of people will kind of, in fact, most people will look at it this way and go, you know what? I don't really need Kama Jiu-Jitsu all that badly. I'll go back to my old school because I'm 6 months away from my black belt there, and I'll get a black belt there. Because to them, the black belt is important. You know, it's easy for me to say belt doesn't matter. But if you've been training 8, 10, 12 years or whatever, and you're working your way up to black belt in a particular system, and now you're going to jump ship and go to another system where you might only be a blue belt, it kind of throws you for a loop mentally. And I wouldn't blame you for not wanting to come on board with us because of that. What we've done here at Kama Jiu-Jitsu is we've kind of changed it up a little bit. We created another belt, and this we actually got the idea from Professor Jack, who would go and drop in at Gracie School every once in a while to take Hicks and Gracie's classes over there when Hickson was teaching there. And what they would do is, he'd walk in with his black belt, professor, first degree, and they tell him, no, every guest at our academy has to wear a different belt. And what they would do is give him a black belt, but with a white bar, right? This is a blue belt with a white bar. So now what does this belt mean? Well, it means this. If you come in from another school and you've earned the rank of blue belt, with or without stripes on it, but you've earned the blue belt rank, when you come into our school, we'll simply replace your belt. And we replace your current belt, you're going to retire it, with this belt, with the white bar. Now, what does the white bar say? It says a couple of things. Number one, it says it's still a blue belt, so you get to keep the color that you earned, number one. So we're not going to take that away from you. But number two, it says that you earned your blue belt from another academy and another system, and that you are learning our system. It also lets our other blue belts know that you earned your blue belt elsewhere, and that they may need to help you out a little bit, kind of share some information with you. Don't assume that they know it. Whereas everybody wearing a blue belt with a black bar, it is assumed they know what they're supposed to know, and we're very strict on that. You need to know this stuff, and you're not going to get your belt until you know this stuff back and front. So by you wearing your white bar on your blue belt, it just basically shows that you're a blue belt in training, I guess. And that goes until you learn the system. Once you learn the system, we swap your belt out. We may swap it out with the stripes. We may swap it out without the stripes. Swap it out without the stripes. It really depends. Depends on you. So, excuse me, it's gotten hot here in Texas again. It was cold, but now it's gotten hot again. So that's the blue belt with the white bar. Now, what if you have a desire to teach and you want to help run classes, and you want to teach classes, and you want to help out in that way? You just have that's just in your heart to teach. Teaching is taught. Don't get me wrong, it is taught, but the desire to teach is born. You could say, teachers are born, they're not taught, and that's not true. The desire to teach is born, but the actual ability to teach is taught. Those of our blue belts and up who are in our instructor training program, they get a different belt, and that would be this belt. So blue with a red bar and blue, and their degrees will come on here as well. So you don't need to be a 4th degree blue or 4-stripe blue to get this particular blue belt. The only requirement, we have 2 requirements. Number 1 is you want to teach. This is something that you want to do. We don't ask you to join the program because it costs more. I mean, it's not a cheaper it costs more than a regular membership because there's a lot of extra time and energy put into you. But number 1, you have to ask for it, because if you don't ask for it, then how many times have you come across having a class with a person who is the instructor, could be a blue belt, purple belt, brown, could be a black belt, and they're just horrible. They just don't want to be there. To them, it's a chore. It's not a privilege to teach. It's right? You ask a question. It's just, they seemingly don't want to be there. But the thought process among those types are that in order for me to get to my black belt, or in order for me to be in favor with the professor in charge, I need to teach classes. And it's a chore. It's something I have to check off my list to get to where I ultimately want to go to, right? Those are the people that are horrible instructors, right? On the other hand, you have somebody who just loves to teach, and they would do it for free. Those are the ones that we want in our program. And like I just said, people in our program They pay to be in the program. It's not anything that's free, right? It's not like, oh, you like it here, let me teach you for free. Fact of the matter is, when you run a school, time is a premium, right? You have to run the operations of the school, you have to run the actual school itself, you got to teach classes. If you have instructors, you have to teach them how to teach. You have to deal with customer service, you got to do all this kind of things. So, being able to set aside time with people to work with them on a skill that is not even necessarily related to their training, it is what it is. But that's where that instructor bar comes in. So what that also does, by them wearing it, it lets all the other members know, especially the brand new members who don't know these people, don't know them well, it lets the brand new people know that if they have any questions, and I am not in the vicinity to answer their question, let's say I'm working on something with another student, they can just simply pull aside one of these junior instructors and get the help they need from them. Another thing is, besides having the desire to teach, they need to know the material, and they need to know it well. These are people where the learning for that particular thing, although we're always getting better at it, they've already learned it. Whereas, you do have some blue belts that might forget something and they got to kind of go over it again. But they learned it. It's like, oh yeah, I get it. They are not necessarily, I say not necessarily because that's not cut and dried. They're not necessarily candidates for the instructor training program yet. So those are our 3 belts. So like I said, we've got the instructors with the red bar. We've got the people that earned it at another academy with the white bar. And then we've got your standard old blue belt, which we have here with the black bar. So we have that for blue, purple, brown, and then black. Black, the white bar is different. On a black belt, the white bar just simply means you earned the rank of black belt, but you haven't gone through the exercise of learning how to teach, and you're not in the instructor training program. You're just a plain old black belt. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just some people just don't want to teach, they just want to train. And that's what the white bar is for. And like I said in the other video, red bar means they've entered the instructor training program, have been in for a year, they get the red bar. 1 more year after that, they complete the program, and then they get the professor bars, which are the 2 white bars. I don't have my belt, unfortunately, so I can't show you what that one looks like, but it's common. You can kind of see those everywhere. Anyway, that's all I got for you with regard to the belts. That's what we do, and if you run an academy and you kind of have this type of situation where that's not my blue belt that I taught, it's a blue belt taught by somebody else, but you want to get them up to speed, go with the white bar. Or if you have instructors that help you, help them to be distinguished by the other members with a red bar, right? Anyway, that's all we got for you. Thanks for your time. Hope all your training is going well. Happy training. Take care. Bye-bye.